Yes, guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Everything Football podcast. Uh Finally, Joe, internationals are over, so
God.
we don't have to watch that shit. I
Didn't
mean,
well, I didn't even watch it. Didn't watch any of the England games.
yeah, not really. I watched last night's, which was England against Ivory Coast, and I fell asleep because I had a headache, and also it was just boring. Like I think what's it? Ore got sent off in like the first half, so and Ivory Coast
I
weren't doing
only watched
anything
the
anyway.
highlights back.
Yeah, no, they weren't doing anything, and I think I saw Ollie Watkins goal, which is like tap in, and Sterling's like some sort of rebound or something. Well, not rebound, but like just another easy goal basically. And I didn't see the third one, but yeah, England, I guess done well, but they're friendly. No one's going to care about that. But a couple of decent debuts um for
The youngsters,
goalkeepers. Yeah, uh,
Guy
Mitchell,
Mitchell.
Mitchell. And yeah, they done pretty well, I guess. But the main talking point I think that's come out in the last couple of days is the booing of Harry Maguire in against Ivory Coast. I actually didn't hear it or anything like that, but I don't know if it was before the game or something like that. I actually don't know. Or if it was like somewhere in between or something. I'm not too sure. But um Southgate said it was a joke. Um I don't know really. Well, I mean, Jack Grealish also in the press conference I saw he said that it was like obviously a joke, basically the same thing, like disgusting or something like that. I don't think people are booing him out of sort of they're not booing him in an England shirt, I don't think, but they're booing. There's probably most United fans booing him, and probably Southgate's decision, as we said in the
Uh,
last episode.
People are booing him just because they probably think he doesn't deserve a place in the England team due to his current form for club level.
Yeah, um, yeah, I think it's. I get the sense it was mainly Man United fans, because like, well, people are going to take the piss. Basically, Maguire is a bit of a meme at the moment, with his performances, but I'm sure it's just mainly Man United fans, really. But I can understand why people are upset. As we said in the last episode, Maguire's form's been awful. I don't really know why he would be getting picked for England. As I said, I think personally, I think Tamori could be in there, or probably there's other people. I can't really think off the top of my head now, but there's definitely probably other centre backs that could have got a chance.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but I mean, like, what can you do? Southgate picks a team at the end of the day, and
It's
it's
just a
his
decision.
decision.
You
Yeah,
can't do anything about it.
yeah. There's like there's nothing you do. But as I say, I think that's why people are booing him, and obviously everyone, the England team, are a bit upset with that. Harry Kane came out of that tweet saying we've managed like to get so far with the England fans back on side, and then going with then him, like all the England fans like booing him, or section or whatever, booing him when his name was called out. He said he was like upset and stuff. As I said, with Jack Grealish and Southgate said it was a joke. Um, but I mean, I think people are more disappointed with the as I said, this choice selection. Like he needs to up his performances at United, as most people know.
Yeah,
But I mean, for England, doesn't do too much wrong. But then again, the opposition we play, they're not really a threat until like the tournaments. Then they're a threat, and that's when you can really test Maguire. Like I think people like Pickford, people go, why? Some people might go, why does he get picked all the time? Especially last couple of seasons or a couple of seasons ago when he had a really bad spell at Everton. I remember. Um, but then obviously for England, he's bloody like Peter Shilton or someone like that,
yeah.
And
I
he's
think because Maguire plays well for England, he's playing in a back three most of the
yeah,
time, so he's more protected, pretty much.
yeah, and United he plays in the back two, doesn't he? So,
Yeah,
oh, like back four, but two in the back pairing.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I guess he could be a bit more protected, like you say. So, but at the end of the day, if he picks it up, but a club level,
As Roy Keane would said, uh, the booing is part of football. It's people's opinion.
Yeah,
So
essentially, yeah. Um, so I mean, I feel in a bad way for him, but as I said, like, well, obviously, no one probably does deserve. Like, it wouldn't be nice for him getting booed and stuff like that. But I mean, as I say, I think it's majority United fans because they think his performances at United have been pretty terrible and probably pretty well. They will be rightly like to say that they will be right to say that because he has been awful. But
it cost us points.
yeah, yeah. So, so yeah. But as Rory can say, you just sort of got to get on with it. But yeah. But luckily, internationals are over now, so I don't have to watch that. Like as I said at the start, I don't have to watch that shit anymore. Like especially it's so boring. Like as I said, no one really watched them. Like I mean, families like dads might take their young kids to go and see him because it's England at Wembley and stuff. But people ask we, unless it's a tournament, no one really cares. Especially when we're playing
Okay.
like these friendlies. Like we're not even qualifying. It's just like two friendlies against Switzerland, which I think we played shocking against. I did watch the game, but it looked like from the stats. I did watch the highlights, but in the first half, we looked like we were shocking and they were all over us. And then Ivory Coast, as I said, Ivory Coast are awful. So, like, sorry to say, but they were awful against us. And then obviously the 10 men didn't really help. But I think even Jack Grealish, I saw him. I did see the already red card, but Jack Grealish was pleading with him to the ref, sorry, to I think not to be red carded because it was just gonna be so one sided, and it pretty much was. Um, but I mean, Jude Bellingham was the man of the match, and he is a great player.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely top talent.
only 18, and he's doing that. I mean, I see at Dortmund, he's doing so well. Like I watched their match when they lost to Rangers. I watched that Europa League match. There was one point in the second leg, where I think Nico Scholes gave the ball away. He went fucking mental. Like there's a bit literally he was like going mental, and then you can read what he says on the TV. Just hear him go every fucking time. And it's like obviously it means like his passing was just awful. For Scholes' passing was awful to him or whoever because they need to get back in the game, obviously. But he is such talent. He was the heart of their midfield at the moment, especially when
He's captain material already at 18.
yeah, especially with like obviously when Royce goes or if Royce is getting injured, which I think Royce has had a few injuries in the past, so he's kind of quite injury prone a little bit, I think. So but when Royce isn't there, if he stays, but I guarantee I think this summer he'll come to, if not this summer, definitely next summer he'll be in the Premier League team, no doubt. You know, ripping it up at the Championship at 16, it's hard enough to do. It's a tough league, really. Especially for someone
Yeah,
who's 16. Mid-table Birmingham, not great, not doing great, and he was playing really well week in, week out. And then obviously moved to Dortmund. He's been really bright spark, and I just think he's just gonna. And he's already played for England at Euros at 18. So what more can you say? Like he's guaranteed he'll be with the Premier League Cup within the next 2 years, no doubt.
oh yeah, no doubt. You'll never get better.
Yeah, and then all the rest of the other ones, I think. Just looking on the other international fixtures, you got. I think Wales might be playing Scotland. It did say Scotland or Ukraine, but obviously what's going on over there, they don't know if they can. Well, no, was it Scotland? I can't remember. I feel like it was Scotland, Ukraine, like Wales versus Scotland or Ukraine, but at the same time, I don't think it was because yeah, someone. But Wales, I can't remember, but Wales and Scotland could be playing each other, for a World Cup playoff place, which is going to be
Very
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Yep, home nations. You probably want a couple of home nations in there, really. Like you kind of wish they weren't playing each other, just get as many home nations in as possible. But it's going to be good to see who does well in that.
Yeah, the evenly matched. You don't know who's going to win that.
Yeah, I mean Wales is only hope. Well, massive hope. The creator is Gareth Bale. I mean the free kick he got, scored against who is it? Austria. That's something else. Um, brilliant free kick, really. And then obviously, a big talking point in that as well, actually, was the comments that the Spanish media made to Gareth about Gareth Bale, sorry, labeling him like a parasite, I think it was, or something like that. So people were saying that, his one of his celebrations, I think he got the second goal in that as well, like, so he got two. I think people were saying like, oh, it was that. I remember seeing the clip on Sky Sports. They said, the interviewer said, "Oh, Bale, was there a message in those celebrations?" He said no, but he said it was disgusting what they said about him. But I think that's right, because to be fair, Bale has gone down. I think he should be going down as a legend, really.
Yeah, for what he's
For
done for Madrid.
I think he got past Zidane's goal record or something at Madrid as well. I'm pretty sure. So, or something. I remember a couple of years ago, a year ago, he got past that. So,
He's too disrespected in the Spanish media.
yeah, and the Spanish, like, well, the Real Madrid fans, sorry,
Yeah,
they don't respect him enough, and he's done wonders for that club. I mean, they might not like some of the pictures, like you've seen the pictures before, where it's like Bale with like a mask over his face, he's just sitting there sleeping, or he's sitting there yawning. But I mean, he's that's only been the last couple of seasons where he's been put on the bench most of the time by, when Zidane came in and returned, and obviously Ancelotti at the moment as well. Um, so for since that, he's been absolutely vital for them and really well, like brilliant for them, really. I mean, you think the most iconic moment I think you can think of Bale with for Real Madrid is that, but overhead kick go on the Champions League final. I mean, and obviously
yeah,
the second
yeah.
one was a bit like Carrius. That's why he got mean. But that overhead kick, that's got to be the best Champions League final goal I think there has ever been. Best goal ever in the final. I
Yeah, he
mean, people
scored
say,
a couple of memorable goals for Madrid.
yeah,
That goal against Barcelona
yeah,
in the
ran
was
off
it
the
Copa del
pitch.
Rey?
Yeah, final
Yeah,
ran past. I want to say Alves, but I'm not sure if it was Alves. I don't think it was Alves, but it might not. It might have been. I can't remember. But he just, getting forced off the pitch, basically trying to foul him. I remember the right back for Barcelona was trying to foul him. He just sprints past him and scores that goal, which is unbelievable. That was his first season there.
yeah,
The pace he had was like blistering. And then obviously you've got, um, just lots of Champions League goals. Um, as I said, the 17-18 against Liverpool, that'll go down as the best ever goal. I can't think of a better goal in the Champions League final. I mean, people say there's Zidane's goal. Um, Obviously that left foot volley in was it Hampden Park? I think people want to say left foot. I might be wrong now. But yeah, it's unbelievable from Bale, and I think he's absolutely disrespected for
oh yeah,
what he's done
definitely.
for that club. And he's won so many titles. The Liga, Champions League, Copa del Rey. He's scored so many goals, got so many assists, and I don't really know what actually sparked it off. I can't really remember what actually sparked it off. I mean,
It might be a row with the manager.
yeah, I
I don't know.
assume. Yeah, I'm assuming it was a row with like Zidane or something like that. Because I think that season when he scored in the Champions League, I think that's when he started getting benched, and he was getting brought off the bench. And then I think it went on to next season where obviously Zidane left, and then Real Madrid had that really bad time where they went out to Ajax early in Champions League, and they were doing bad in La Liga, I think. I don't know if they might have done, but I can't remember. I don't think they won it that year. I might be wrong, but I remember them just doing really, really bad in the Champions League, and everyone was just like, it was turmoil. They're like, it wasn't a good place, and that's when he was on the bench a lot of the time. And then since then, he's just been on the bench and been really mistreated. And I think the images that have come out where the Spanish press have got him like on the bench, just like sort of lazing around, if you like, which probably would hurt people at a club. But at the same time, if he was getting played, I think you'd know he wouldn't be like lazy. He'd be working hard for that team because, I mean, he obviously, I think he does love Madrid in some aspects, because when he came back to Tottenham last season for that loan, it was only, he even said like people were asking the question, are you going to come back permanently to Spurs because of what's happened? But he still said he wanted to play for Madrid. Didn't want to go to Tottenham. He just used that as like a loan, as in a way a bit of a stepping stone to get his fitness back up.
Yeah.
But I think he obviously hates the Spanish media, and I wouldn't blame him, as I've said, because being able to parasite for no real reason is just, I think, terrible from them. But that is media and football. I mean, there's lots of
I wouldn't say the English media is any better.
yeah, that's what I say. Like most media, anyway, just can be anywhere probably. Where the media are sort of, if they're doing bad, they'll get on your back, sort of thing. So, but I think the Spanish media and the Spanish fans, especially if you play for Real Madrid, or Barca, they can get on your back quite a bit because I think I saw an interview with Bale, and it was a couple of years ago or a year or so ago or something, but he was saying about how he came on and he had a bad game, and he said you kind of expect your fans to sort of get behind your name, and then hopefully you can do well. But for him, they were booing him and like hissing him and stuff like that, and he said it made him play worse. And I think he's had that disconnect with the fans for a while, probably. When they started doing, because obviously you know what it's like out there. If they don't like a player, they will get behind their back, and it's like 90,000 people, whatever, 80,000 people at Bernabeu, or even, as I said, Camp Nou or Nou Camp or whatever, or the Spotify Nou Camp, as now it's going to call them. I mean, I don't know. That is just terrible. But yeah, they get behind you. If they get onto you, sorry, then it's probably not going to do well with confidence for the player.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was some drama throughout the internationals. But speaking of sort of, I know I spoke about Real Madrid, but I mentioned Barcelona. Now, I was speaking to Jabba's like of the other day or yesterday. I was saying to him about, have you ever watched this documentary called Take the Ball, Pass the Ball? Now, I have watched it before, but I was just rewatching it like last week or a few days ago, and it's a really good insight. It came out in like 2018, but so a lot of people might have seen it already, probably, I assume. But it is a really good insight into Pep Guardiola's reign at Barcelona and how they got some of the best players in the world. So you got like Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets. They interviewed all of them. Dani Alves, Valdez. Everyone really part of that team. Even Abidal, Pinto, people like that. They interviewed them, and even people like Michael Carrick, who played against that Barca team in the 2010 Champions League final, I think 2009 as well. And they're interviewing like some authors and like reporters who, over the years, when they're at that time, have gone to do, like, I guess, reports on Madrid, Barca, because it's the insight of Pep Guardiola and what his tactics were like and how tactical he was and what he done and what players he brought. So you had the likes of, it splits into sections really. It's like Pep coming to Barca, what his history is, background when he was a player, then he was a coach, youth level with Mourinho, and then it goes on to like him and Mourinho's rivalry. When Mourinho was at Madrid at the time, 2011 and 2010, 2011. And obviously when that was Pep's year where he won the Champions League, I think he won the treble that year. I might be wrong, might be the year before, but it gets a rivalry in the inside, and it's a really good intake into sort of what happened there. It's all about how the Barca and Real Madrid players hated each other. At one point, because I remember there was a Champions League semi-final, 2010-11, Barca won that. Then you had like the Copa del Rey and stuff like that. And then I think there was another Spanish Cup, but Madrid won that. But the biggest turning point between that rivalry was the fact that the biggest game was the El Clasico. So when they play each other, the new camp. Barca won 5-0 and it all got so heated. You had Spanish players fighting with each other. So like obviously Ramos, Casillas, Arbeloa probably we've all been playing that game.
They always start fights.
Yeah, so you have that, and then you've got obviously the likes of David Villa, Valdez, PK, Puyol, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets. They're all fighting. And then obviously you have like people like Messi, you know, probably like Di Maria at the time, maybe potentially playing those sort of games, and they're all fighting with each other, and it's like that's how bad it went down in history of how intense their league type fight was for the league and the Champions League and stuff like that. Because Mourinho and Pep apparently there was rumors that got so personal between them. And that's what sparked it off, and it's amazing because they used to be coaches in the youth academy in Barca, and then Mourinho obviously took a different step and went to Porto, went to Chelsea, then went to Inter, and he knocked Inter out. And he knocked Barcelona out when he won the Champions League with Inter, and he starts, that was the turning point, which he got they said he got the job for Real Madrid because he knocked out Barcelona. And then that's where it all started off really. But it's a really good insight. You've got how they played against Manchester United. Carrick was talking about he'd never played against such a great team. Sort of Xavi and Iniesta just passing it around. Ji-sung Park, who was supposed to be known as probably Fergie's, like, you go follow a player. Like when we saw Fergie against AC Milan, the quotes that have come out saying he told Ji-sung Park to stay on Pirlo, and Pirlo said it was one of the toughest times. But Park trying to get around, follow probably Xavi or Messi, it might be, or something like that. And they're just passing it around them and, battered them really off the pitch. And Carrick said, Fergie had said that or in the media, had been saying that it never had a hiding like it sort of thing. So, and that was two on the trot as well, because obviously you lost in 09-10, where Messi played and scored the header, obviously. And then obviously the final at Wembley. It's like such a good insight. Like if you haven't watched it, you need to go and watch it because it's so good. You got Henry and how they respected the way in which Pep wanted to play, because there was players there that they'd had interviews with coaches where they said, it needs to work, and you need to be able to play it into Xavi, and Iniesta, who were like the creators. And then the wide men, so you probably had like Pedro, and like there was times with where obviously Henry played. They interviewed Henry, and he was saying about you do a wide run, you're the wide man, but you run, but you'll hardly ever get the ball. Just the amount of runs they made, just so they can create the space for Xavi and Iniesta to get on the ball, look up, and then find the passes, and split defenses open. He said there was lots of, because they interviewed coaches, and it was like, I can't remember his name, but there was a defender who didn't respect like Pep's way, because he played an over top through ball for Zlatan or something like that. Instead, when he could have it, like Henry was telling him about, and he said it was on, like the run was on and the pass was on, but you have to play it to Xavi or Iniesta, but he didn't. He played it over the top, and it like went a bit too far, and the keeper got it. And he done it twice, I think. And apparently Henry said Pep took this defender off at half time because he didn't respect the way they played and getting the ball to Iniesta sort of thing, passing it. And he adapted a completely new way of playing at Barca really, since, because they had the whole history of Barcelona. They have Cruyff, and what Cruyff done won them their first Champions League. It's really good, and how he adapted the style. Probably the first time they'd ever seen of like three at the back, tiki-taka passing. And Johan Cruyff was obviously an unbelievable player and done really well as a manager and stuff. So the legacy they leave now really is still with Johan Cruyff's legacy, if you like, because the tiki taka passing is just
Yeah.
there. But it's, if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It's like mental to watch. And then obviously they've got like the making of Messi and how Fabio Capello, when he was managing Juve, asked him to take him on loan. Obviously they said no, and Xavi was saying like when he came to train the first team at 16, they knew he was going to be one of the best players, and when he started playing on the pitch, they could just tell. But yeah, it's really good insight and sort of how the downfall as well, because in that 2011-12 season, Valdez said Victor Valdez interviewed him, and they were like, "Oh, Pep was shouting at three players, and he could tell." He said apparently to one of the teammates or coaches, went, "He's leaving this summer." And obviously, we saw Pep leave that summer after. Obviously, we beat him in the Champions League and stuff like that, but still an amazing sort of four years. I think it was he was there from like ball manager 2008 2012.
Yeah. I think I need to go check it out.
But yeah, it's such a good insight. I mean, it's good to watch, especially if you're watching it first time. Like when I watched it first time, I was really intrigued because, well, I've always loved Barcelona. Like if I had to choose Real Madrid, I just love Barca because of the way they played. Like I think one of the first real fun Champions League finals I watched would have been the Barcelona Man United one at Wembley. I remember that was probably one of the first I watched really that I can remember watching. And I just remember thinking, Messi, it's just all these players, Xavi, Messi, they're brilliant. And obviously, I didn't want United to win. But watching those players was just, brilliant. And ever since, I've always liked, watching Barcelona. And obviously, they've had so many great sort of teams and, they've won so many trophies, really. Obviously through their time just until now, sort of since then till now, because you have the Luis Enrique reign as well, where they had MSN, Messi, Ronaldo, Messi, Suarez, Neymar, Ronaldo, Messi, Suarez, Neymar, Rakitic came in, Busquets was still there, Xavi, Iniesta was there still, because they've been there for a long time, really.
Yeah.
And then you've got the likes of, Dani Alves, PK, even like Ter Stegen, obviously is there now. Alba. So it's a really good sort of insight. And obviously the teams as they've grown, I've just always loved Arsenal. That's why, because their players just been so good. And they've obviously won multiple Champions Leagues now, multiple the Ligas and stuff. But yeah, they've always been the tiki taka team, really, and that's probably stems from Guardiola.
It's never been boring.
Yeah,
like Chelsea.
Mate, our tactics are good, mate. That's probably what you need, Harry Maguire, mate. You need to defend a little bit more, don't you? Then you actually concede less goals.
Maybe we should just start playing three at the back for every game, so he has better support.
Yep, and then you might actually win something, because look at us. Three at the back, what have we won? The league with Conte, and now the Champions League with Tuchel. So it's got to be something going right with that three at the back formation.
It flukes, really.
Yeah, and what have you won? Hey, in the last few years, what have you won?
Runners up middle.
Yep.
League.
Yep.
Europa
And
League.
that is Mourinho, quoting Mourinho, one of the best, that's the best achievement he's got with that squad. That Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, Rashford is not a striker, and Rashford's having a terrible time. So Mourinho's sort of right in.
I don't think it's because they were good. I think it's because the rest of the teams in the league were doing badly.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, because that, but Mourinho has obviously been right by what he said a little bit, because no one's even come close to second, I don't think, really. Solskjaer, did he? I mean, Solskjaer, don't talk about Solskjaer. Solskjaer's terrible. And then obviously Rangnick is just not a manager to me. It's a good thing they're getting in or trying to get in a Poch or Ten Hag. It's looking more like Ten Hag now.
Even though Van Gaal has literally warned Ten Hag not to go to United.
Be interesting to see, because I do want Ten Hag in the league. I think Ten Hag is a good manager. I mean, always done Vikes. I mean, he plays progressive football, really. I mean, I know he lost to Benfica, but I think Ajax dominated the majority of that game. I know possession doesn't win you football all the time. I'll know that. Especially Champions League finals. As I said, we've definitely not had more possession, but we still win it. But I'm just saying, like, as a United, if they want to get somewhere and start playing and at least get into an FA Cup final in the last few years or something like that, or Carabao Cup final, playing a little bit better progressive football rather than going out in the round of 16 to Atletico Madrid in Champions League, going out to Middlesbrough in the FA Cup. I know it was penalties. To be fair, I think that one you should have won because you were battering them. Like, you just missed so many chances. I mean, Joe Lumley, he must have loved it when Ronaldo missed that penalty. Bruno had like how many chances to score, but I mean, if you want to do better in the league, you've got to play better football rather than what you're doing right now. But this isn't about Man United, Joe. As I said, we're speaking about the Barcelona because Barca, as I said, have always been a great team really now for a few years. And their rivalry.
They're only just rebuilding now, aren't they?
Although to look at it now, from the Guardiola days to their worst now, really, their worst in Europa League, first time ever. But another thing I'd like to say about this now is, in that interview, they interviewed everyone. They said, so who's most likely to be a manager for Barca out of like the La Masia sort of lot? And who would be a manager? And they all said Xavi to be Barcelona manager. And I mean, look what's happening now. Like, but Xavi's the Barcelona manager. They said he's most likely going to be the Pep style of football, bringing that back, tiki taka. I mean, you saw a couple of weeks, last weekend sort of thing, before the internationals, they battered Real Madrid 4-0 in the El Clasico at the Bernabeu. Now, I mean, and I watched those sides, and they could have won about 5. I mean, they're all over. Like Ferran Torres missed like 2 chances as well, so it could have been like 5 or 6 really. I mean, Madrid are not doing that great. I know they're in the Champions League and they beat PSG, but I mean, if they're getting battered by,
as well.
Huh?
You got to play them as well, Madrid.
I know. I'm not looking forward to that because
that probably gives you a bit more confidence going into it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's too soon we're playing each other. Like, I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I mean, well, there was teams I'd rather take. I mean, there is a Benfica and a Villarreal in that draw, but with Madrid, I think. I mean, we can beat them, yes, but at the same time, you saw what they did to PSG. If we're switching off like that, although I don't think we would switch off like that, but if we did, the atmosphere there, they can switch it on, and if they have Benzema on his day like he was against PSG, then it's not going to look too good for us. But I do think I mean, it's always the Champions League. I'm always nervous. I don't think we can beat anyone really. I'm always like, no, we won't be winning. We won't be beating these over 2 legs. I mean, the atmosphere, the stadium, the players they got, and then we end up playing well. So, yeah. But I mean, with Real Madrid, how they're in at the moment, like you say, we could beat them, but well, we have a good chance. But, yeah, as I said, Barcelona beating them. They'll get back to Champions League with Xavi. They'll be once he gets a few decent. I mean, he has got a few decent signings. Obviously, had a Bamyang. I mean, a diamond. But when he gets really good technical players, like when Fati is back, Pedri's brilliant. When he gets some of those playing, and then some really good signs as well, I think he'll be like. I reckon he'll win the Champions League with them in a future some point. Because I don't think he's going to be rushing off. He'll be there for a number of years, I think. So yeah, we will have to.
I'm pretty sure he wants to make Barcelona great again.
Yeah, and I can see that happening. Progress, all right. There's little steps at the moment, but as I said, 3 years, we'll see. We'll judge them then. We'll see where they are then. Maybe 3-4 years, see who they've got, where they're playing. Challenging Champions Leagues again.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, that Koeman made or Ronald Koeman, however you say his name, he made a terrible. He made Barcelona terrible. I mean, they were getting bad left, right, centre. So I think it's good that Xavi's doing well for them, because if he gets them in, he knows Barca. He wants to play a certain way. So it'll be good to see Barcelona sort of on, I guess, the map, hopefully in Champions League soon. Same with Madrid, really. I mean, as I said, one thing I do miss about Champions League, not just like years and years ago, but like only a few years ago, like say 2016, a few years ago, something like that. I mean, Madrid and Barca were one of the most feared, or were the most feared teams probably in the competition, because the way they had both their teams. I mean, Zidane with his BRB, Bale, Ronaldo, Benzema, then you had Casemiro, Modric, Cruz, who have still got now, but they were obviously younger and a bit better, like obviously. So
in the prime.
Yeah, probably. So you have that, and then you had like Marcelo doesn't get played anymore. I mean, Carvalho still gets played. Then you had Ramos, Varane, and then like
PSG now.
Yeah, and then Navas. To be fair, Navas, from the games I've watched, I don't really rate him that well. I think he was kind of like a bit sort of well. I mean, I just think he wasn't that great of a keeper. He was one of those where he had a great defense, a great team in front of him. So
yeah, I guess you're right in a way. I don't think he's that bad though. Like,
no, I don't think he's that bad, but
I see what you mean. There's a mistake in him.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, he's just one of those keepers that's in there, and like he just doesn't get tested really, and when he does, he's not great. So like I said, he's got such an attacking team really in front of him in those times, and he didn't really need to be like when he was tested, it wasn't much really. But when he comes up against a top team that does play against him, they do get through Madrid. He can, like say, have a mistake in him. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like as I said, them two were the pinnacle of like the Europe a few years ago. And everyone loved watching them play. And now, like as they've gone down, it's just really sort of sad to see how they've turned out. Like Barcelona Europa League, you'd never think that, really, never. So yeah,
Barcelona are like depth, aren't they? So
yeah, I mean, yeah,
they've had to be careful of what they've been spending. Maybe rely on youngsters as well.
but they are spending kind of like, I mean, sort of big. I mean, it's not they're not buying, are they? Like they've brought Adama, they've brought Ferran. I mean, Ferran went for like, was it 40 mil or something like that?
Yeah.
So
Aubameyang on a free. Adama was a loan deal, wasn't it?
I think so. I thought Adama was
an option to buy.
I thought Adama was permanent. No,
I think I think it was an option to buy for like 30 mil.
Right, okay. And then what's it? And then they've said, I don't know if you've seen, but they come out and said that they've got a midfielder and a defender coming to them, but they can't say their names, and they think it's Kessie from AC Milan and Christensen, which I think it pretty much is Christensen from the leaks I've seen for Chelsea and stuff. All the journalists saying it, I think it is Christensen, and I'm pretty sure.
Fabrizio Romano saying it as well.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it is Kessie. So yeah, them two are going to be
two good signings, to be fair.
Yeah.
Even though you don't rate Christensen.
No, I don't. I don't know how many people do rate Christensen, but I know a lot of Chelsea fans are very 50-50. So
honestly, I think he's a good player.
No, from what I've seen, right, he's a good the thing is he's a good like half decent passer on the ball. Right. He can do like a decent pass. But for a defender, right, you've got to be physical and you've got to be able to win a header. Like that's one of the main traits. And he just doesn't. He's so weak in the air. Like all the Chelsea games I've seen, you put him up against, you know, like I mean, he's been bullied by like I know it's a bit there's tall height difference, but someone like Calvert Lewin will bully him, and like same with just other teams. I've just seen people like jump and get above him and easily get round him, and he's very naive in his tackling. To be fair, a few years ago when Conte had him in 17-18 season, I was like, this guy is going to be amazing. Like every Chelsea fan was like, this guy could be the next JT. I mean, I know it's very sort of, JT, you don't really compare, but everyone was like, he's so good. He's just naturally talented. But over the years, he's just like, I think he's been shocking. Well, sorry, not shocking, but he's sort of gone down a lot. And I can tell you now, there'll be Chelsea fans that agree with me on this. There'll be Chelsea fans that disagree, but I think there's a lot of Chelsea fans that do agree, and they'll be saying the same as me. And I have seen in Chelsea comments and stuff, there's also, when we played Christensen against West Ham at home a couple of seasons ago when they were doing like crap and we lose 1-0. Oh yeah, Christensen got beat in the air again, or just was terrible today, like not doing his job, like Lanzini got past him or something like that. Or Antonio.
Maybe he's like Maguire. Maybe he plays better in a back three.
I don't know, even in the back three he still looks dodgy. I promise you. He's played on Tuchel. I don't know why Tuchel's still playing him if he wants to go Barca. Like, he shouldn't be playing. Trevor Chalobah is the geezer.
I rate Christensen more than Trevor Chalobah.
I mean, it's a fair comment because
I'll probably rate Chalobah's brother better than him.
Yeah, but Nathaniel Chalobah's damp.
That's a Chelsea legend. What are you on about?
There's a reason why he's now Fulham. I think he was at Watford after we let him go, and then he's at Fulham now. But yeah, I watched him live in the FA Cup game against like Brentford when we had Conte when we won the league title, and there was a difference between Chalobah, Nathaniel Chalobah, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek was miles above Chalobah. Chalobah was like losing the ball against like Brentford. I was like, this guy's not that great. But Christensen's just a bit weak, so. But yeah, obviously we sort of went off topic a little bit there we were talking about Christensen, but I mean he is, as I say, Barca want him, so two decent sides to build their progress is what I was going to say. I mean midfield and stuff, but you still got like Pedri and I'd say Fati on the wing, Ferran Torres. I think he's looking a bit at home there. Ferran Torres really, he's in Spain. He probably likes it there. Language barrier, there don't need to be one. So he can sort of express himself on the right wing itself. Like really, I think him and Adama. I don't know if he's been played on the left a couple of times or even up front. I think actually, maybe at times.
When Adama?
No.
Torres.
Torres. I think he's been like sort of mixed around a little bit at times. When the Aubameyang's not been there, he might have been played striker or left.
I mean, they all can rotate with each other, really.
But I think he is. Well, I mean, I haven't really seen Aubameyang change. I know Aubameyang can play left when he did for Arsenal a couple of times, or a few times. But I mean, Aubameyang's been the main striker, whereas Adama I've never really seen on the left before either. But I mean, as I say, it's a progressing front three for now for what they've got at the moment. They can make do, and then in the future probably do well. But yeah, the whole segment was the documentary, and it's really good to see. And if you haven't watched it, go and watch it because it's interesting, especially if you're like a Barca fan. Because I always feel like there's either Madrid fans or Barca fans. Really, like who do you prefer? I don't know. I've just always had that. I've always been like I prefer Barca, although Madrid do entertain me still. As I said, under Zidane those 3 years and stuff, and even before 3 years when they won Champions League, sorry, and even before they've always done well, and they've always entertained me as well as Barca. But that Barca team will just inherit, a lot of fans, like for people, especially like Messi, because there's returns as well. There's rumors that Messi might return to Barca as well. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously he's not settling at PSG really. I don't know what it is because obviously La Liga is a tough league than French league. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah,
I think the French league's the worst league. Um, so I don't. I wouldn't. Obviously, people this season have said about he's doing worse in a farmers league, but I don't know. Maybe some players just sometimes just don't feel at home.
I mean, even the PSG fans booing him.
Yeah, after their performance, obviously we saw that against who was it? Can't
They
remember.
lost 3-0 against Monaco. I know that.
Yeah, they were, but they were playing someone else. Can't remember who it was, but they like everyone saw the clips. They were booing, obviously Neymar. I didn't get it though because I saw something about they were booing, like people like Kera, like the German defender who plays from. He didn't even play in that game against Madrid, and people who didn't even play. And then like they booed them when they came on. Then like Hakimi apparently came off and they were like applauding him, but he played in the match, so I didn't get that. So PSG fans are a bit like, well, I don't know, they're a bit weird if they're doing if that was true. If they were applauding Hakimi and then booing Kera and someone else. I can't remember, or a couple of others they were booing who didn't even play. So I didn't get that. But yeah, I mean, it's been tough really for PSG. I mean, well, not tough, but when they're in the farm, when we're sort of going to go back to I think PSG because talk about them. As I said, it is a farmers league. I do personally think it's the worst league. I mean, I don't know what you're
Oh
thinking.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I mean, I think the German league does have just a bit of an edge over it. There are at least a couple of teams. I know Bayern win it all the time, but there's even still like Dortmund can still compete. You still got like Leipzig at times can compete and stuff. So it's not like all really one sided. Or I don't think it's as bad as like the French league. But you've got PSG, who I saw a thing now on Instagram. Also, you get like people's posts, even who you don't follow. It's just like sort of like sponsored or just to sort of probably try and get the followings up. And I got this. There was a quote on Bernat, and he was like, "Oh, it's going to be good going for a 10th title." Like I was just thinking, I read that and I thought, bloody hell, like 10th title. It sounds good, but in a way, do you think you get bored? Like 10th title, there's no like proper challenge, is there? Like unless it starts season, you go like, oh, okay, we need to get points on the board. But like probably by
Yeah,
like December or something, they're probably like flying or like it's not too much of a challenge. Like like you must get a bit bored. Like I'm sure a lot of people in France get bored of PSG unless you're a PSG fan, get bored of their 10th title. Like I know of people have won it. Like obviously Lille did win it last year, but like if PSG have probably won it like 4 times in a row off before that. And then obviously had like that Monaco team where Mbappe was
yeah.
playing. But other than that, PSG have like won it most times. It's just like going for your 10th title, like how it must be kind of boring.
Maybe Mbappe's getting bored. Maybe that's why he wants to join Madrid.
I know, yeah. And as I say, it's that easy of a league. That's why they bottled it all the time. They bottled it to Barcelona 6-1. As we talked about this in the last episode. And we were saying, or it might have been an episode before, I can't remember, but we were saying a couple of podcasts ago that, lose to Barcelona 6-1, lose to Man United, Ollie's Man United when he was coming in, lose to Real Madrid. I mean, someone else said this. I think it might have been on BT. Like one of the pundits was like, it's so easy there that they don't like when it comes to the big games, they bottle it because they're not used to being changed at all. It's just an easy ride for them, and I totally agree. I think that's just I don't know how they bought it, but it's been under different managers. Well, you've had Emery when he lost 6-1. I think that was the worst one, 6-1.
Oh yeah,
They were 4-0 up against Barcelona in the Champions League on aggregate, and all they had to do was just defend like mad. Like, I mean, even if they let one goal in, it wouldn't be too bad. It'll give the Barcelona fans hope, and they might have a spell for 15, 20 minutes where they just absolutely couldn't get out. If you just defend with your life, you can get through to the next round. And they managed to bottle it, and it was just like, I mean, Jesus,
It's just, yeah, you can only
um,
ask how.
yeah, and I just don't think they've been challenged before. So that's probably why they bottled it a lot. Because PSG have also had some good players in their side, like obviously Ibra, Thiago Silva. I'm going to days like the good days, like people like Lavezzi, like everyone like forgotten player, like Thiago Motta. Di Maria still plays obviously there. Obviously they've got Mbappe, Neymar's been there, Messi's there, but Neymar and Messi, since they've been there, they ain't been great at all, really. They're like 200 million for Neymar, and he's for him, it's just a showboating league. I mean, I've seen clips of him getting like obviously carded for like showboating and stuff like that. So like,
I
and
don't
it's
I actually
taking a
think
piss.
I think he's lost interest in a little bit in football
Yeah,
in a way.
I wouldn't be surprised. And I think they were going to offer him like on his latest contract. I remember seeing a few months ago, they were like going to increase his pay. Like he's getting like more money, but he's disinterested. He's probably getting less and less disinterested. Or less and less interest, I should say. Um, and it's not it's not looking good when you've got that much wages and they don't care.
You seem to ask yourself, will PSG actually win the Champions League anytime soon?
Yeah, they won't get a better chance, and that's what the fans of or the owners, I should say, well, the fans and owners will want them to win Champions League. That's the reason they signed Neymar and Messi, to win the Champions League, and Mbappe, and yeah,
I don't think they'll get a better chance
yeah,
in the Champions League when they play Bayern Munich,
no,
because they could have won that. They could have easily beaten Bayern Munich if they took their chances. Because I
yeah,
know Mbappe had some chances.
yeah. And obviously even last year, I mean, they played City, but as I say, everyone knows the front three is just so disorganized. They don't really track back there. I always, as I said, when I've been looking, I think you're right. People will know that when you look at, like, when I watch them in the group stage this season against Man City again, like, they're so individualized. They're not together. Although it's not even the midfield, they don't look together. Like, they just sort of, like, when they go a goal down, or they're like, they start losing their heads. Verratti starts getting a bit like dirty, and like changes flying in and trying to surround the ref and stuff, like when it doesn't go their way. Like, they're not a team that's got the mentality, I don't think. Like, they
Yeah,
haven't got mentality to win. Well, or to
they
hold.
ain't got the team spirit
Yeah, they ain't got the
to
mentality
like
to have bottle.
come back.
They
Yeah,
ain't got the bottle to hold a lead or hold a tie or whatever, even these hostile places, or wherever they play, wherever they play, like Barcelona, the Camp Nou, it's going to be hostile, but you've got to hold it out. Like, most teams will know you've got to hold that. Most teams will go there and lose, yes, but not in a 4-0 way. Not on that.
as we
And
said
they've,
earlier, they're not used to it, are they?
yeah,
They're used to dominating the ball and not sitting back, holding a lead. They're like always on you, aren't
yeah,
they? So
yeah.
they just get a bit cautious.
Yeah. And then obviously, I don't know, because they, as I said, they've had managers. I mean, they've had, obviously, they got Poch, and Poch is like the serial bottler at Spurs. Um, they had my manager, like Thomas Tuchel. He said, but he came out and said that Neymar and Mbappe, he's had problems with him because their attitude, and it's obviously being shown. Like, Neymar's attitude is terrible. Same with Mbappe's probably, and Messi's, we've seen round with Poch about being taken off and stuff like that. I know they're really good players, but none of them are bigger in the club, and PSG fans will hopefully say that. Like, you can say any player you want, no one is bigger than the club. Like,
Exactly.
no, not even one player, not even your legend. You would say, like, I mean, any fan will probably say it's no fan. It might be a legend, but no one's bigger than your club. Like, no one. So when PSG, like Messi's coming through and arguing, like, he's an absolute god, but when it comes to football, but like, if you get taken off, you get taken off. You're having a bad game. Like, you're not untouchable. Same with Ronaldo. He's not untouchable. he might moan when he gets taken off, um, and stuff. But he's not bigger than Manchester United. Manchester United was there before him, and it'll be there after him. So
Exactly.
same with PSG and Messi and Neymar. They were there before them two. They'll be there after them two. Because I don't think Mbappe's attitude is as bad as them two. Or no, I think Neymar is the worst that we've seen, but um, I think Messi's just a bit like Messi. I get the impression he's just a bit sort of homesick and he doesn't really like the league or the sort of where he is. Neymar's attitude, I just feel, is like very much taking the piss out of everyone because it's such a dull league. And Mbappe, as I said, Tuchel apparently come out and said they've had problems and arguments, but I mean, he's left now and Poch is there and Emery's been there before, and you know you've had players like Cavani there. I don't know what goes on with PSG really. It's
Some sort of curse there, really. Makes players miserable.
Yeah, or Champions League. They just don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Moving on swiftly now. We've seen this week that obviously the Premier League Hall of Fame is back. Players are getting nominated. You've got a load. So you've got like, I mean, I can't remember all the names, but Neville, John Terry, what's it? Cole, Andy Cole. You know, I can't remember exactly, but there's a load of
Got
them.
Ashley Cole, Ferdinand.
Owen, yeah. Obviously, I think we saw who was it? Vieira and who was it? Vieira, because
And
I think
Bobby Fowler as well.
yeah, no, but two people at the start of the week got put in. Actually, got put in. I think, and it was Vieira and was it Gerard? Or was Gerard already in? I think Gerard might be already. It was Vieira and someone got put in, and obviously all the lots of other names were being voted, like we said, like Owen, Terry, Cole, you know,
Drogba as well, Paul Scholes.
yeah, people like that. So, obviously, I think personally, I'm gonna go a bit biased. Obviously, I think Terry should be in there. Terry's, I think, the best defender the league's ever seen. I think he had the most clean sheets, most goals scored by a defender. You know, he's just a leader, especially as a Chelsea fan. You know, JT is just a leader. You get everyone by the scruff of the neck and get them together. If they're doing bad, if they're doing well, pick them up. But I mean, some creative players in there, like, you know, probably Lampard and Scholes. Scholes was brilliant for United. Everyone knows that. You know, can defend, can attack. You know,
It's always that debate: Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're the three just deserve to be in there alone. Vieira. But yeah, striker. I mean, obviously, I think there's a lot. I think there's people. I don't know if was Aguero nominated. He's probably somewhere along the line nominated, or I might be wrong. But have you got the list there of who was in there or who's been nominated? I know you've got people like Gary Neville as well. I think Torre might be.
Yeah, Aguero's in there.
Yeah, so Aguero, like some of the strikers in there, you know, Premier League Hall of Fame. Who have you got to go? You know, Aguero, brilliant goal scorer, not just from Pep, but from Pellegrini, Mancini. You know, he's been brilliant for City. You got obviously Gary Neville. You got everyone knows the United, sort of Chelsea, Arsenal legends who should probably be in there. Liverpool, probably Gerrard.
Yeah. Got Letitia as well.
Oh yeah, Letitia. You know, Ferdinand, Vidic. You know, just such brilliant players. Like the amount of players we've had for Premier League Hall of Fame, like to be in there, the amount of legends you really have. It's just brilliant. Like you know, players that obviously we were a bit younger watching them. We didn't really watch them like when they were as like in their prime. I don't think might have just been we might be started watching them at the end of their prime a little bit, but people like Ferdinand, Terry, and you know, we saw lots of them, and not as much as like Gary Neville really, but we know what Neville done with that. He's captained our team to win the Prem. People in there who are already in there like Shearer, I think Gerrard, or it might be Gerrard might already be in there. Brilliant captains, leaders. Shearer, born and bred, Newcastle. Obviously went to Southampton, went to Blackburn, won the league there. Didn't win the Premier League at Newcastle, but done really well there. He's still got the 260 goals. That's mental for all-time record for Premier League goal scorers.
Yeah.
260 is just nuts. Then you got the midfielders like Yaya Toure, Vieira. Strong players who you can watch. Like, obviously, so we weren't able to watch like Vieira really in his prime because we were probably a bit too young. But like we see on YouTube what he can do and how everyone talks about him if you watch Premier League documentaries or just other players speaking about people like them. These lot that get nominated, they're just so good. Gigs, probably like people like, I don't know, I can't remember it, but you know all the legends are like Fowler, Owen,
Yeah.
People like that.
You can't complain about any of them.
No, they're so good. And they've been so good for their clubs. Not all, like I said, not all won the Premier League, but they're just so vital for their clubs and what goals they scored.
It's not all about trophies. It's like,
yeah, I think keeps are in this like Czech, Van der Sar probably, Schmeichel. Did Lehman get voted? I'm not sure, or might be in. I'm not. Was Lehman? I don't know, but he was still a good keeper for Arsenal. We can't deny that. I think David James should be in there really because David James was a good keeper, like clean sheet. So Czech did overtake him, but he did hold it for a long time, a clean sheet record. So he was a brilliant keeper, and he played for like Portsmouth, people like that. So yeah, it's the Premier League Hall of Fame is there for the legends, and those people deserve to be the amount of talent and what it gives as an advertisement for the Premier League, or what it did back then as well for what they were doing. Not just like today where you see people like Salah and I don't know, fucking Mane and De Bruyne, or Kante maybe.
We've got Ronaldo.
Yeah, the Premier League now. But back then, they made an advertisement for the Premier League to be the best league in the world with the way they played and how good they were for their clubs, what they'd done. Some of them captains, some of them really strongly, some of them just really skillful on the ball and able to do what they were able to do. Like Shearer, I think he must have been Newcastle captain, but from what he done for the goal scorers, like striker position, for him to do that for Newcastle is unbelievable, really. People like Rory Fowler, as I said, didn't win the Premier League, or Michael Owen, but it was actually funny. I was watching last night as well on Sky. There was like a Premier League legends, and people like Michael Owen, when he was like 18, he was playing brilliantly. At 18, he had such a good start, and he was just going past defenders at 18. And then he went to Madrid, and it all went a bit downhill when he got injured and stuff. But at the start, he was absolutely brilliant. He won the Ballon d'Or at 18. Like, no one's done that really. I don't think ever since. So at 18, mental. So, and obviously his career's gone down a little bit now, but he said he had no regrets, and he'd done well when he got to play with some of the best players at Madrid, like Ronaldo and Nazario and stuff like that, and Raul and people like that.
Yeah.
But like he was so good. And then you've got like I said, Drogba, powerhouse. Speaking from personal experience, obviously watching him, powerhouse, so strong. Lampard, Terry, Cech, Cole, and you have seen Vidic, Ferdinand,
Scholes.
Late part of Giggs,
Rooney.
Rooney, exactly. People like that, and then also found Vieira, probably Adams or Keown, Omri, Perez. Everyone knows the teams really. Gerrard on his own was just brilliant for Liverpool as well. And that team, because that team was average. You know, as I said, Dave James played for Portsmouth. I think he was really good for, get the teams he played for. So, I mean, he's played for Liverpool before, but in his late career, he didn't play for like Chelsea or anything like that. So, what he's done is like really, really well. But mostly, it's going to be teams in the top six, really, and the top four main teams. Like I said, Arsenal, Liverpool, United, Chelsea.
No one comes first.
And obviously a bit of City because you have like Torre, who was just a powerhouse in midfield, absolutely brilliant. Aguero, there'll probably be people in there like De Bruyne next. I hope to see Kante one day in there because I think he's good.
He's won everything. I reckon he will be.
Even people like David Silva, Fernandinho, maybe. I think
got Fabregas as well.
Yeah, Fabregas. Some great players in there, really. Maybe even Vardy for just goal scoring. I mean, he's got more goals than Drogba, and for where he's come from, that's brilliant. And I like to see Vardy in there, see what he does. Obviously, he is getting older, but I mean, just being in there for personally on his own, he's personally done very well. I mean, he's won the league, and he's scored a lot of goals
as well.
Yep. So I think Vardy could potentially have an argument. I'm not saying he's the best striker there's ever seen, but he should definitely have a shout at potentially when he retires or whatever to be in there.
Especially from where he came from as well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like he only started playing in the Premier League at 27, so for Leicester.
Exactly,
so come all the way from the league, so he deserves a shout. But yeah, there are some great players, that have been nominated and are in there. But that's what shows how good the Premier League is and how strong it is, and to get even more of the best players in at this moment in time when the standard is so high is unbelievable, really. That's why
it's the best league in the world.
That's why England, most people want to come to England. I mean, the passion we have for football over here, sport, and then just we attract the best players, and we've had so many great teams over here. Like at the moment, if United had got through, we would have had the most teams. We always will probably most likely have the most teams in the Champions League, doing well in Europe anyway, even Europa League. So yeah, we're the only country to have 4 teams in both the finals. So in 2019, we had obviously Liverpool, Spurs, and then we had Arsenal, Chelsea in the Europa League. So no one's ever done that. I just think that shows how strong it is. But I mean, yeah, it's hopefully we can keep going even when people like Klopp and Guardiola leave, who've made this league so special after the past few years. All sorts, and all the players, like I said, Salah, De Bruyne, Kante, people like that. Everyone coming through and playing really well. Even like people like Tielemans, like you'd never see him at Leicester a few seasons ago, and now he plays for Leicester and stuff, and he's won the FA Cup with them, and I've scored that goal, unfortunately. But I mean, it's great. And like you've got people coming through, like West Ham are playing really well. It's just
seeing them in the Europa League, it's good as well.
Yeah, doing well because obviously, like we say, Europa League is like most teams wouldn't want to be in there, but West Ham will definitely
for them
be in there. Yeah. Fighting relegation for you, so they'll want to be in there, and they could, if they win, they'd be in the Champions League. They don't have to win it via the league. So yeah, but I mean, it's just such a great league, and that's why we have the Premier League Hall of Fame. It's got so many special players in it that have graced this league and done so well. So, but yeah, guys, I think this is where we're gonna wrap up the podcast for today, the episode today. If you did like it, obviously subscribe, comment down below. If there's something specific you want us to talk about that related. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Cheers.